Hello Flosstube and happy May. My name's Angelica and this is my channel Rose Red Diamonds and Crafts, where I post monthly check-in summaries for the previous month and then go over plans for the current upcoming month. So back in March, there was the Stitchy Madness challenge, and because I had touched most of my whips. My goal for April was to pick up the 6 whips I didn't touch. That way I would have touched all my whips this year. And my goal was to do at least 500 stitches on each of those projects, which, spoiler alert, I did get at least 500 on all 6 of those projects, and we'll go over that shortly. So in April, I touched 9 whips. I started 2 new starts. I finished 3 whips, and then I shelved 1 whip. And I put in a total of 18,727 stitches. Week 1 of April, I hit all my goals for those 500 stitches on those 6 whips. I finished my diamond painting, which was the Queen of Wands. I had it hanging here before. It was partially finished. Now it's hanging up. You could just barely see the bottom of it up there. But I finished that, and then I kitted up my next diamond painting. Neighbors' dogs are barking. I kitted up my next diamond painting, which is as large as this house right here, but I don't know when I'll be starting it, but at least it's ready to go when I'm ready to work on it. Week 2 of April, I put my stitching down and I started dyeing fabric, and I kit up for 7 new starts. Week 3 of April, I started the 2 new starts. And then it was also 24 hours of cross stitch weekend. So I ended up picking up 3 charts over 24 hours of cross stitch weekend. They were the closest to a finish. And I ended up finishing. Technically I finished 2 over cross stitch weekend. And then I finished the 3rd one on the Monday after. But I also wasn't home for most of Sunday. So it could have been 3 finishes in the 3 days. For some reason, we always have something going on cross stitch weekends. It's only 4 times a year, but for some reason, even though I don't go anywhere all month, on those weekends, there's always something going on that requires me to leave the house. But on 24 hours of cross stitch weekend, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I shared it, but I put in 3,789 stitches, and that's not counting what I did on that's not counting what I did on Monday, which was all back stitching. I tried to count the back stitching, but I got lost after like 200, and but I do know that it took me 8 hours. And then week 4 of, I was going to say May, on week 4 of April, the May Whip Go numbers were called, and I just got a start on that. Then I started hurting if you know, I have like I was treated for tendonitis several years ago. I don't know if that's what it is or not, but I do know that I get strain right here, and even as I'm touching this, it's tingling. It's tingling up my fingers. So I started getting some pain at the end of May, I keep saying May, at the end of April. I started getting some pain, strain pain, and so I don't know. Usually I have to take a lot of ibuprofen and icy hot for it to go away and rest. But everything I like to do requires me to use my hands. So I don't know how that's going to affect my stitching this month. And the last time I really injured myself, I took a whole month off from stitching. So now it's time. Let's show you what I worked on. Week 1's whips were the 6 that I had set as a goal. And in no particular order, this is Halloween Movie SAL by Atomic Tiki Pins. Here's my progress. And I put in 772 stitches. My goal is only, for this project, my goal is only to complete this center image before continuing the border. I want this completely finished before I decide how I'm going to chart out my movies. Okay, next is we're going to do Seductive Kermit. Seductive Kermit is from the Witchy Stitcher. It is a bonus chart if you purchased the Supernatural SAL. And I put in 504 stitches, so he got the least amount all month. But I worked on this bottom part. I don't know if I had any black underneath him, so I flattened it up and then started the side border too. All right, next is one of my finishes, and this is Ghostface Valentine, which is a Patreon chart of the Witchy Stitcher. And I put in 1,613 stitches, and this one got 3 days or 3 stitchy sessions, because some of those days were late night stitching. So next is Vintage Halloween Candy Buckets, from also a Patreon chart from the Witchy Stitcher. Very wrinkly. I don't iron anything until I fully finish, and I never fully finish. So this one is 1,555 stitches. I had already had the pumpkin completed, and then I had the outline of the cat started, and then I did everything else. Okay, my other finish is Grover, which is a free chart on a Facebook group, a stitching Facebook group that I'm in, which I can't think of the name of right now, but it'll be posted in the description. And for this one, not counting the backstitch, I put in 2,473 stitches. Okay, and the last of my 6 goals for April is Alice in Wonderland. This is a free chart from Owl Forest Embroidery, and I'm doing the trio, the 3-color option. And I put in 2,464 stitches. I'm not sure if I had this flower done on the, I think I may have had this done. I'm not sure, but I know that I had I think I did this strip of hearts and then everything else. Not this top part, but this side border and everything below it is all new. I was really close here. I hit the 500 goal, and then I wanted to keep going. And I just kept one more section. And then when I had gotten to the point where I had this house, I wanted to get that house done. And then if you see, I started filling it in. And then I got tired and fell asleep. And when I woke up, I was like, you know what? If I pick that up again and to finish that, I'm going to want to keep going. And I figured I had done plenty enough for the month. So I just went ahead and set it down, partially completed. Week 2 of stitching. The only thing I stitched on week 2 was Merry Mushroom SAL, or Merry Mushroom 2, which is the HAED SAL for this year. I worked on it for 5 days, and I put in 4,559 tent stitches. So I have lost my motivation to have this. Not that I've lost my motivation to have this finished by the end of the year. I would still love to have it finished by the end of the year, but I've lost my motivation for the reward for having it completed at the end of the year. So I'm still going to push myself to get as much of this done as possible. But there is nothing in my wish list on Heaven and Earth Design. I don't have anything on my wish list that would trump something else that I already have on my wish list, if that makes sense. I'll talk about it later, but I just kit up 3 full coverage projects. And then I also have like a queue of 6 more full coverage that I want to kit up, and with the goal of starting it all next year. And nothing that's on my nothing that's in my wish list on HAED is going to make me want to bump one of those other projects down. So unless they come out with something this year that really speaks to me, I'm not interested in the end of the year reward. Possibly the other charts. I wouldn't be against that. I wasn't interested in the yellow mushroom because I'm not a big fan of yellow, but with the background stuff that's in it, maybe that one would be cute and complement this. I do like the red mushroom, so maybe I would want to do the whole set of all the little mushrooms. And so yeah, maybe I would want to do the other patterns eventually for this that are available for the SAL. But yeah, there's nothing in my wish list at this time. So week 3 was new starts. I had 2 new starts. This is Pokemon Type Chart, which is from Tiny Pepperfish, and I've been watching her mother Becky's Madness for Crafting stitch it for a while now, and I showed it to my older 2 boys and asked them if I should stitch it, and they both said, oh yeah, that's cool. That would be cool. So this is my progress on that. I did make sure I started in the center to make sure that it was properly centered. Let me see if so you can't, because of the crease, you can't really see, but it is the center start. And I'm trying to just get that outside border properly lined up before doing any of the fun colored in stuff. But I put in 1,141 stitches on that. My next new start is kind of similar. It is Nostalgic Tarot, which is currently a Witchy Stitcher Patreon exclusive, but it started off as a Patreon chart, February's Patreon chart. She released, let me backtrack. In February, Witchy Stitcher released the Lovers and Death tarot cards, and with the intention of it just being those two cards, and but then it ended up turning into she's going to do all of the cards, and then she created a free border for all the cards to fit into. So I purchased the black fabric, 18 count black fabric, for the border, and then she released the Empress, and my gut said that Empress belongs on purple. So I bought some white Aida and then dyed it purple. So this is where I got to. I'm only doing the border. That's all I want to do is the border. I mean, I'm sure until I change my mind, but at this time, all I want to do is the border. This is, I only put in 401 stitches, so just a small start. I always buy, sorry, my nose itches. I buy my Aida from Amazon. Yeah, I buy my Aida from Amazon, and I always buy it from the same company, but because I was impatient to start this, I bought it from a different company this time, just so I could get it a little bit faster. And it could be just a coincidence. It could just be a coincidence, but this fabric came with little crummies on it. I don't know what those are called, but they're little imperfections. So even though this side was dyed a little bit, got a little bit more of the this side of the fabric got a little bit more of the coloring, but I figured it would be easier to fudge it if I did it on the opposite side. So, and it's on kind of on the bottom, so I made sure that the imperfection is at the bottom right side, so it'll be a while. Nope, sorry, nix that. It's the bottom left side. So long story short, it'll be a while before I get to that area, and hopefully I'll be able to cover it up. I don't know how loud that was for you. I'm sorry. If it was too loud, I'll try to cut it out. All right. So week 4 is when I decided to start my May Whip Go calls. So I think they were sampler and full coverage. Sampler? No, not sampler. It was Patreon, a Patreon chart, and full coverage. And I could have kept working on that nostalgic tarot, but I needed a break. The long stretches of stitching, just like with the Pokemon, it's easy enough to keep going, but you also have to make sure that you're counting properly. And when I don't trust my counting because I'm tired or something, then yeah, I just needed to switch it up. So I picked up Arcana SAL from Uncanny Kari's Patreon. And here's my progress. I put in 841 stitches. The SAL is done, I think, as of the last time I recorded last month. And something else I was going to say about it, but I can't remember. I don't remember what I was going to say. I do know that this is one of my 4 under 5,000 stitches. So yeah, so if I'm trying to do finishes, that will be on the list. And the last whip I worked on in April is, I don't need my light pad for this one, is Lost Soul. This is the Story Keep version from HAED, but it's now retired. However, if you are interested in Lost Soul, I just saw it. I think, sorry, I just seen the full chart on, I believe it was Thread Geeks. So if you're interested in the image, you can get the full thing on Thread Geeks, and if you want to crop it yourself, you can do that, I'm sure. So here's my progress. There's a couple stitches underneath, but not a lot. So Lost Soul, I put in 2,404 stitches. I worked on it for 4 days. I'm really close to a page finish on this. I think the point right here, this outermost point, I'm pretty sure this is where the page breaks. So I've been working on just trying to get all of this filled in before moving farther into it. And because this is a story keep, it is only 3 pages long. So it is very long though. But I have been watching Crafty Gaming Jamie recently. I went back and watched all her earlier videos, and seeing her progress on all her full coverages made me motivated to put some work into that one. So that was all of my cross stitching for the month. Shelved. I did shelve a project, and that is Retro Gaming Mandala, which I purchased off Etsy. And that is this one right here. Oops, I'm holding it upside down. I talked about this one, I think, on the last video and said I wasn't going to shelve it, but I changed my mind. I'm not loving the way this color looks on this fabric. I'm not enjoying this stitching at all. I'm only 20% into it. So I don't even have 1,000 stitches. If I really love this, I could have had that 1,000 stitches in one day. So I had, like I said, I purchased this on Etsy as a March Madness whip for last year, because I didn't have enough projects to participate in March Madness last year. I only had like 3 or 4 projects, so I purchased a bunch. From Etsy, or acquired free patterns that had minimal, easy to kit up stuff. So, but I had intended on making that for my husband, and although he likes the pattern, it's not like he's not anticipating a finish on that. And I do intend on starting a video game sampler from Screaming Heart Design. I think he'll like that one more. He also seen a Ninja Turtle. He saw a Ninja Turtle project on. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I know these things, but when I go to film, I forget. So there's a YouTuber or Flosstuber that is working on a Ninja Turtle project, and from the Coco something on Etsy. Yeah, I'm horrible with names. Sorry. Anyways, he saw that and he liked that, so I might do that on that giant piece of black fabric that I purchased. Otherwise, I could save it for some smaller things. But if I decide to pick back up the gaming mandala, I'm going to do something different colors, maybe a different fabric, I'm not sure. Speaking of floss tubers, I have started watching a bunch of new people this year. Sorry, squeaky chair. I'm trying to get settled. I started watching a whole bunch of new Flosstubers this year. My main Flosstubers that I was watching previously, they've had life things going on, so they don't post as frequently. So when Whip Parade season comes around, in January and in the summer, I usually try to find some new people to watch. And one of those being Crafty Gaming Jamie, which, like I said, I was inspired by all her full cross, but not only that, I vibe with almost everything she stitches, to where I am worried that I will end up collecting everything that she is stitching on. She's the one that told me, or let me know that Thread Geeks is a thing. So I have purchased several charts from Thread Geeks now, with the intention. Let's see here. I've got 2. I think I have 2 already fully kitted up and ready to start. But I'm gonna try to wait until next year, till 2025 and start those. But we'll see. Who knows? But I also intend on kitting up a couple of other ones. I do have the fabric for a couple of those charts, so if I really want to start some of them, I'm sure that I could find the floss on something and just do like some work on color completion, or get a start on something. I just would have to buy the rest of the floss for it. Also, I started watching Cross Stitch the Globe, I believe is the name. The sisters. So I bring them up because they had a couple of videos about mirabilias. Now I don't have any mirabilias, and I haven't really been inspired by any charts to say I got a stitch on that. Searching on 123 Stitch, there's only one chart there's only one chart on the site that I would consider stitching, and that is the 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 Sleeping Princess. That one I keep going back to, so I do have that in my wish list. But even when I have the money, I haven't pulled the trigger and purchased it. So I like it, but I'm not in love with it, right? If I do a memorabilia, that's probably what I would purchase. That being said, some on my newsfeed, a Flosstuber popped up, and I went to watch the video, and they happened to show an out of print memorabilia. And I think I've seen this before, like early on in my cross stitching days, like 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure I've seen this chart before, but it's out of print now. And when I seen it, I just instantly was like, yes, if I can get my hands on that one at a reasonable price, then I would definitely stitch that one. And that is Fairy Idol. I have seen it on eBay, but it was posted for $225, and I'm not paying that much for a chart. During Nashville Needlework, a couple months ago, there were 2 charts that I fell in love with. One I did order. It's in the mail. So I'm waiting on that. That is Wings of Change by, who is it? Silver Creek Samplers. I seen it and I thought of my mom, so I want to stitch that up and frame it and gift it to her. The other one, though, is more pricey, and so it'll remain in my wish list for a while, and that is, who's the designer? Pantini, I think. When I think of the alphabet, so it's an alphabet. It's the ABCs, with and there's 2 different versions. There's an older version as well. That's a little bit. I think the older version's more expensive, but they're like $60 and $80. So they're pretty pricey. But I think that they are. I'm pretty sure that they are approximately the same size, so you can mix and match them if you wanted to, which really sucks because I do like both, to where I would want to stitch them both up, but I think if I was to choose, I would choose the newer one first, the one that has the apple as the A, not the one that has the acorns for an A. I think I would start with the apple A chart. So yeah, that is going to be on my wish list for a while. Also, they told me that apparently I have, that my Disney Thomas Kincaid chart is could have been worth some money. It's been opened. It's the whole full kit minus the needles. I stole the needles because there was a sharper needle for backstitching. All right, so I just shut my window because the neighbors are doing yard work. So hopefully it'll be a little muffled if you hear it at all. So yeah, I have a Thomas Kincaid, the Beauty and the Beast chart, and I have no intention of ever stitching that. It's never really called to me. I bought it simply because I wanted a cross stitch kit, and I wanted to give it a try. It was the first thing. I talked about it in my whip parade, but I bought it because it was the only thing that I liked that was a kit at the store, There was no other Disney ones. It was the only one I had the option. If I could have picked one, I would have either chosen Pinocchio or Peter Pan or Winnie the Pooh. I do like Beauty and the Beast, but I'm not that big of a fan of that particular image, and yeah, I don't intend on stitching it. Random tangent, but I'm drinking Pepsi SodaStream. If you're a big Pepsi fan and you haven't tried SodaStream and you want to try it, my opinion, it tastes close enough to Pepsi. It tastes close enough to Pepsi. Like maybe a not the best Pepsi fountain drink, okay? Like, you know it's Pepsi, but it's not the best. But it serves in a pinch. You are definitely getting your water, because my nails always grow super thick and healthy when I'm drinking SodaStream. I only drink the SodaStream when I run out of Pepsi, when I run out of my case of cans. So my nails always grow thick and strong when I drink the SodaStream. However, even though the Pepsi brand, even though it says that there's caffeine in it, I always end up, I could tell, my body can tell that it's not enough caffeine. I always end up having to pop tons of Excedrin, or, yeah, to balance it out. I suffer from migraines when I'm on a SodaStream diet. I guess technically haul. I don't have any charts to show you. I did, like I said, I purchased I've purchased several full coverage charts with the intention of starting next year. So far, I have 3 of those kitted up and ready to go. I have the fabric for most of the other ones, and I just have to purchase the floss. I'm going to try to break it down to where I'm only spending like $40 a month for the rest of the year or something. I don't know. To acquire all the floss I'm going to need for those other tarts. But for Christmas, my husband got me a Cricut brand mug press, like a starter kit for that, and he also gave me a $100 gift card for Hobby Lobby to purchase more supplies for it. But I don't, even though I love it, because we love mugs in the house, we love mugs so much that we are overflowing on mugs, and they all don't have a home in our kitchen. So we always have some spread out throughout the house, because we don't, if they're all cleaned, if they're all washed, there's nowhere for them all to go. So we have some sitting on coffee makers, and I mean coffee makers. We own several coffee makers. Yeah, it's a problem. So long story short, I'm not in a rush to make any mugs. But what I am eager to do is make some project bags. So I waited, when I decided I want fabric, I waited until it was a 40% off at Hobby Lobby, and I purchased some 16 yards of fabric. So yeah, hopefully this month in May, I can turn all of those into project bags, and I could show you later. I don't have it next to me, but no, pause. Technically, the other piece of haul I have is a gift from my middle child. He secretly purchased me a book that I had picked up at Barnes Noble and then set back down. I didn't want it because it was $20 and it was the first of a series, and if I really loved it, then I would have to purchase the rest, and that would be very expensive. But he didn't understand that. He just knew that I was interested in it. But I also struggle to read actual books. It's been so long, especially with a toddler, it makes it more difficult. But yeah, he bought me A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I guess I have to read that. I have been, it's been on my radar for a while, or to check out. It's never available on Libby. For me, when I check, it's never available. It's always a massive wait list. And yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it. However, this month when I get billed for Audible, I will officially own the entire series when I get my credit, right? When I get my credit, I'll be able to purchase the final book in the Vampire Academy series of audiobooks. I read them years ago when they were out, when they were new. And with them releasing that new series, I think it's on Peacock, when they released the new series, it made me want to reread them, but I don't really read. I struggle, like I said, I struggle to read physical books, but I'm trying to get comfortable with audiobooks, because at least I can multitask with an audiobook. So I will officially have all of those, and then I will start them. And if I continue Audible, I want to get all of the Percy Jacksons on audiobook because I love that series. It's one of my favorite book series. We own all of them physically, but like I said, I want to, if it's Audible, I could listen to it, or I can multitask. I think that is everything. So let's go over May plans. So I want to keep stitching goals very light. That's not to say that I won't stitch 20,000 stitches. I just want to make my plans very minimal. Fandom is doing Mania. I am going to attempt to participate. But I will see how far I go. I don't want to, we'll see. So what I'm doing for Mania for Fandom is, because it's a couple days into May already, I can show you what I'm doing. So I'm working on the Disney Chibi Villains SAL thingy that the fandom's doing. And what I'm doing is I choose a character and I put in 200 stitches and then set it down for the day. 200 stitches, put it down for the day. And I'm just going to do that until I'm bored of it. And because each character counts as a new start. So, because it's a SAL, each section counts as a new start. That being said, in June is the month of finishes. So then I could go through and finish each character, and then I would get points for each finish. So it's also my goal, for the same purpose, my goal for Supernatural SAL is to finish the frames. So that, and then depending on how long it takes me to do this, I may go through and do all of the extra colored bits in the frame, and then I may go ahead and add all of the creatures' names, so that when June comes, all I have to do is put in all of the creatures, and then each of those will be considered a finish as well. So those are my plans for May. What I'm also going to do is, so in fandom, they do, they give you a list of movies that you have to watch, or they give you a list of movies to watch, and you get 2 points for watching those movies, and then you get 4 points. This is for each movie. You get 2 points for watching each movie, and you get 4 points for each movie if you can actually stitch during those movies. I, for the first time in April, did not get all the movies watched, which kind of sucks because I missed out on 5 movies. I didn't watch Beauty and the Beast 1 and 2, and I didn't watch the 3 Lion King movies. So I may rewatch those at my leisure because I do like Lion King 1.5. So that one's my favorite Lion King movie. Anywho, there's 15 movies listed for May. So what I'm thinking is I will draw 15 whips for those 50 movies, and my goal for those 15 is only to stitch on it during those movies. Okay, so I'm going to use my bingo roller here to pull out 15 whips, but it is a little clunky, and if it's too loud for you, you could either turn down your volume or skip ahead, but it is messy. It doesn't want to, they go bouncing all over the place if I'm not careful. So I have to keep the right speed, otherwise it messes up. So we'll see how well I can do this. But I have 15 whips here. These are just the numbers, and I will compare it to, okay, so what I do is I have a spreadsheet of all my active whips. See if you could see that. They will change as I finish some. I'll shift them around. So what's number 10 this month might not be 10 next month if I finished it. So we are going to see. Do I have somewhere to put these after I'm done? So I got number 11. Number 11 is well suited. Okay. We have number 18. 18 is Stained Glass Dragon. I have kind of fallen off with that. At this time, I don't have a desire to have it finished before the year's over, but I'm not against putting some time into it because I do like the image enough to continue and see how far or how well the picture is, because it is a cheap stamped kit, so I don't expect miracles from it. I understand the image isn't going to be that great or that detailed, but as long as it's not too muddled, I'll be fine with it. So then we got number 15. I keep tossing them on the bed and they keep rolling off. Number 15 is Spring's Promise, and that is from Mislaid Pages. It is my closest to a finish right now, so that's good. Then we have number 12, which is No Time Like the Present. That is my Modern Folk Embroidery 2024 SAL. I haven't touched that in a while, so I guess technically I touched it in March, but I didn't. If I was to keep up for the year, I fell behind in March. I didn't catch up. So 19 is Mona Lisa. That's also a stamped cross stitch. I'm working on the face because, like I said, it's a stamped cross stitch. I don't expect miracles from it, so I'm working on the face to see if it's even worth finishing. If it's decent enough, I will finish it. If the face is really bad, then I'm not going to bother wasting my time. And in fact, if it's really bad, I may look into having getting it charted or finding a chart somewhere else and kitting it up as a full coverage myself, because the Mona Lisa is one of my husband's favorite old masters. I think because he was huge into what's that movie called? The one with Tom Hanks? Da Vinci Code. He was big into Da Vinci Code. I think that was the last book he read, was the Da Vinci Code. Anyways, next is number 14. 14 is Lost Soul. And like I said, if you are interested in Lost Soul, it is available. The full chart is available on ThreadGeeks, and if you want to crop it, you would just do that yourself. Number 1, I don't even have to look. That one is Pokemon, because these are in right now. They're in order of when I started it. So my earliest whip is Pokemon. Next we have 21, which is Pokemon type chart, which I will try to continue the border. Yeah, I'll continue on to the border. 16 is Story Time. That is a chart from Forbidden Fiber Co. It was from the Valentine's Mystery Box. Number 13. Number 13 is my Merry Mushroom. And then we got number 10, which is the Arcana SAL. Number 12 is 17. 17 is Disney Chibi Villains. But I'm already working on Disney Chibi Villains, so I might pull again. So, oops. Next we have number 3, which is Supernatural. Oh, 6. That's Alice in Wonderland. And number 7, which is Cthulhu Awakens. And we're just going to pull one more just because I already intend on working on my, I don't want to do the Disney Chibi since I'm already doing that every day. And the last one, which just rolled off, is going to be number 2, which is Aurora Cabin. And that is a Dimensions kit. So that will be my plans for May. I am also considering doing a weekly check-in. And then either, depending on the length of them, either just posting shorter videos at the end of the week, or posting shorter videos every weekend, or doing one collection at the end of the month. But it's hard to find time to record as it is, so I'm not sure how likely that'll be. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up and get this edited so I could have it out to you before the weekend's over. Is my goal. And then I also have some Flosstube in my watch list that I am anxious to watch. So I will see you all next time. Bye.